Hey, what's up, nerdies? English Dave here for another episode of This Is The Way, a Mando podcast. I'm here with my co-host Eli. What's up, Eli?
Dave, thank you for allowing me to return. See your beautiful face every week.
I mean, as the title says, the Jedi always have to return.
That's right.
He says while wearing a Last Jedi t-shirt.
Right.
We are here to talk about Chapter 10, The Passenger. The synopsis is as follows. The Mandalorian must ferry a passenger with precious cargo on a risky journey. Before we get into it, fun fact, this was directed by Peyton Reed, who gave us the Ant-Man movies, Marvel's Ant-Man movies, which it's hilarious because I knew that going into it, and I still missed the Easter egg of the fact that we had a literal
There's
ant.
literally an ant. I totally missed. I did not connect the two at all.
I just thought Star Wars alien.
Nerd card
Right.
revoked.
I was just like, God damn it! How did I miss that? This was written by Jon Favreau, and this episode is an interesting episode. Eli, quick thoughts. What did you think of the episode?
I actually liked elements of it a lot better than the body. So like I like the trees, but the forest was less pretty to look at from afar. It's a second episode. It felt like a second episode. That makes sense. We're moving along. Like I'm very curious about where they're going. Because that's the whole overarching sense is, where is he going to get the child back to his kind? And so as long as we're moving forward, that's good. And the Krykna, hopefully I'm saying that right. The ice world I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, like what happened?
Well, here's my question. Is it an ice world, which it probably is because it's Star Wars, or is it an ice section of a world?
Sure, could be a polar.
Because there's cloud fights sequences. I couldn't tell it was all ice. I don't know. It's something I just thought about every time I see planets in Star Wars. It's like they're all just one temperature, one.
That's
climate.
a great point. That's a great point. Yeah. Like a jungle world, an ice world. Why can't it be like Earth has literally
all of that.
Yeah.
This was just the whole world.
Right.
But we know Tatooine is just all desert. We've gone to like different parts. It's all desert.
Right.
I'm of two minds of this episode. I think for the Star Wars super fan in me, I'm like, okay, it was fun, but come on, we had two episodes back to back that haven't answered. Well, one episode has given us another question, but we still have answers from the previous season that haven't happened. And this show is only 8 episodes a season. There's only so much time, and give us the answers. Yeah. But then there's the other side of me that's like, well, the show didn't say it was supposed to fill out gaps in mythology. It's always played like a episode of the week show, and there are other people that don't care who that person was at the end of last week's episode, or they don't care why the guy was holding the dark saber. That means nothing to them, so they don't feel it as much as I would. And so I'm curious as to those people that don't make those connections, so they don't feel it as much as I do. And then I started looking at the episode as someone who isn't a super fan. I've seen it twice now, and I realized, oh shit. To me, this story plants the seeds of, or starts pulling along the thread of Mando going from protecting this child until he takes this child to his people to realizing I have to raise this child until I get it back to its people.
Right.
And for me, that's what the whole egg thing is about. Because it's like, God damn it, put the egg down. He actually has to parent. And I think that's what made me think, okay, maybe this episode is actually better than I thought. And also, the sci-fi nerd in me was all over the alien style references, because the last act of this episode was just alien to me. I love it for that. I think Sadie's is joining us. Sadie's, are you there? Can you hear me? Damn it, Bob.
What's up, y'all?
Still. Oh, look at that.
My virtual background didn't load. Boo.
Haha, we can see your where is that?
You mean my Cricut machine where I like do my arts and crafts?
Oh, I love that.
Nice.
Carol Baskins, y'all.
Nice.
But wait, no, seriously, I really don't want everybody to see like all of my.
We got a Cricut in this house too.
Oh, we are recording. We're in the episode already, so people will see it until you change it.
And I feel like this is your favorite part whenever Sadie's like signs on
logs
late.
on, of course.
Yep, and you're like, yep,
because
Got her.
it gives me perfect material for like little ads to post to get people to watch the podcast.
Oh, there it is. Super
There
fan.
we go. This is the way.
Super fan.
This is the way.
Oh, super fan. I was bred into this. My parents took me to the Ziegfeld during when they did the before they closed it down, when they showed the first ones. Yep. I got to do that.
Oh snap! Oh snap! Yes, listeners, those of you who aren't watching video, we have Sadie. She's just joined us. Sadie is from if you listen from our other podcasts, you'd recognize her. She's joining us from now on for this Mando podcast. Sadie's, let these listeners know how much of a fan. Are you a super fan, middle fan, beginner fan? What kind of Star Wars fan are you?
So I don't think I have the right to say that I'm a super fan, especially since now that I've worked a few conventions, I now know that there's a bunch of literature and a whole bunch of storylines that have been developed. I have not even finished Rebels or the New Resistance TV show on Disney XD that they developed. So there's a whole lot of stuff out there that to declare me a super fan, I am not. But I am a true fan of Star Wars. I love the galaxy. I love the story that we're telling, and I'm down for the ride.
The fact that you know that these things exist already puts you on the superfan track. Because people are like, what?
You.
Resistance Rep? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, so the fact that you know it, you're already on the track there.
Because they haven't met super star, like, once you go to, I went to my first, like, Star Wars celebration, like, true Star Wars convention. And once I went to that, like, it's really sad to say that I was like, oh, so this is what a comic book convention should be like. Like, in terms of just, like, how much, like it was the crazy, like, the parade was better than any cosplay contest I've ever seen in my life. Because I was like, are we watching a movie? Are these people getting paid for this costume design?
There you go, Star Wars fans. Doing it right. Anyway, we're actually, we just started the podcast. We started talking about our general thoughts of the episode. Eli and I are both in agreement that as the super fan Star Wars sides of us, we enjoyed it. Some issues, but we enjoyed it for the most part. But I was just saying to Eli how, for me, watching it the second time, I noticed it starts showing Mando as a parent, not a protector to Baby Yoda, in terms of having to making him realize that he now has to raise this child because he's being, it's almost like the terrible twos. Eli, one day you're gonna have to deal with that. It's like, how many times I have to tell you, no, put that down. Stop putting it in your mouth. Like, I don't care. I'm not a parent yet, but I got frustrated every single time I saw this baby put this fucking egg in its mouth. I was like, what are you doing? It's the end of a species. Like, get out of here.
Such mixed feelings about that. Like, oh.
But I also enjoy the fact that, the sci-fi person in me, I want to see a full-on Star Wars movie that deals in horror. Because when those spiders came, it's just like, whoa. Like, I want to take Star Wars to it reminded me of Alien, especially with the eggs and everything. But we're going to go into the episode. Sadie's, you know the order. This is how we did Lovecraft Country, so you'll get right in on it. The episode starts off, it's a trap. It picks up where we left off with Mando defeating the dragon, the crate dragon, and speeding back. Eli, I want to start with you. The attack, Mando getting trapped. What do you think was going to happen there and then? I was just like, oh shit. I
feel everyone has such allegiance to the child, and he or she or it is so cute, and so you don't want anything to happen to it. But you're also dealing with Mando, and it's the very beginning of the episode, so my suspension of disbelief was still a little bit limited. As he can whoop so much ass, and like these guys, didn't seem to have any sort of firepower that was really going to outdo him. But I was a little nervous for a minute. But once the jetpack negotiation happened, I was like, oh, this is not going to end well.
I love. Wait? First question: was that what are they called? Jawa?
So that's what I was
because
wondering.
I'm confused. It seemed like a Jawa.
There's a few creatures going on in that like trap.
Yeah. Right. But I've never seen it looks like a Jawa.
Breeding going on.
Right, or at least we've never seen a Jawa's face.
It sounded like a Jawa. I thought.
And there were some visual elements that were like a Jawa. It almost looked like a Jawa that had its hood pulled back and metal stuff in its face, kind of thing. I don't know what was going on there, but it just I don't know. And it's almost like it was speaking like a Jawa, like you said.
Right.
which I found interesting. But I did like that exchange. I thought it was hilarious. At first, I thought, oh, we're getting rid of the jetpack. No, it's so cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, is this the part of the story where we cripple the hero so that things are harder for them? You know, he did have to walk all the way home, but at least it wasn't that bad for them. We return back to Mos Eisley and we meet Pelly again. Mercedes, I was saying to Eli how, I don't know if you caught it, this episode was directed by Peyton Reed, who directed the Ant-Man movies. So did you see the cameo of Dr. Mandible as a giant Ant-Man? I love that. She wins the game by doing something called a move called the Idiot's Array, which is a special Sabak move. Sabak's kind of like poker of Star Wars. You've seen it played many times. Mando needs to know the whereabouts through a contact, and Mercedes contacts an old lady, not old lady, but a frog lady, who can't speak English. Here's my question I want to ask you guys. Why in the... Excuse me. Need some drink. Sorry. Why in the Star Wars universe, in the universe where we can have robots and droids and fast and light travel, can we not have a fucking universal translator the size of, like, can fit in my pocket?
And
go ahead.
I was just saying, on top of that, not only that, sometimes, like, I like a lot of the alien designs. I think they're really cool. Sometimes when they're straight up like an anthropomorphized version of a creature we know on Earth, sometimes I'm less into that. You know, I'm like, there are so many weird artists out there that you could draw from.
It seems lazy.
Exactly. Like, oh, it's a big lizard frog thing. And that's it. It's like, yeah, like, and of course it's easier for the audience to sort of like relate to that. But like, what is Chewie?
Yeah, exactly. What is Chewie? Or even Yoda. Like, yes, you can add frog elements, but not really. You know,
right.
like
even at least this is straight up a very big.
It's like
frog.
that meme of that little kid being like, "What are you?" Like,
right.
No, literally, what are you?
Yeah, and I think this. Yeah, I think with this frog lady character, which by the way is only credited as frog lady, doesn't even get a name.
Right.
It one of my disappointments of the episode in terms of character, because
that's what got me kind of early on, and we talked about how, like, you know, what was the entirety of the episode great? Like, yeah, I thought there were really cool elements, but there were some things I was like, damn, well, you guys missed on that one.
I like the idea, but I just don't like that they didn't explain it. I mean, I don't think they needed to explain it, but I want to know why. That going faster than light would damage the eggs. So I don't know why, because humans it's never been an issue. So what specifically causes these eggs to be damaged? That, like, I hope it's not just a story plot point to move the narrative forward, which is never seen upon again. I just, you know, things like that. I just sometimes think that they're cheap.
But I do think it does give texture. Like, it gives texture to the idea of traveling light speed. Instead of people just hop around light speed all the time.
Sure,
like,
it does give texture.
There are there's
sure.
potential consequences and whatnot that
sure.
you know you wouldn't think of before.
I mean, isn't traveling like through light speed sort of somewhat saying like not traveling through time, but like you're moving,
like you're
bending
the fabric of the universe.
Technically, it makes sense that like anyone
before
puberty, you wouldn't want them, because like if they're moving faster, then that's it's like I just saw TENET. So that's why I'm like, I get it. I risked it. I saw TENET, like there was nobody in the theater. I like booked those tickets like 5 minutes before the show started. There was nobody in there, so I watched the movie private screening. But I get it.
I like how sci-fi we're giving with this too. I love we're introducing these elements.
Christopher Nolan has bridged the gap to Star Wars.
Christopher Nolan in the Star Wars writing room. It's just you know.
It's a paradox.
I mean, Eli, don't plant that seed in my mind, because I'm gonna disappoint myself knowing that it's not gonna happen. Mercedes, I want to ask you. You know, Eli and I briefly talked about this off podcast. The first time you see Baby Yoda eating these eggs that are of an endangered species, the last of its kind, he just that first time seeing him do that, you know, it's set up so nicely too, because he's sitting next to it and he uses the force on them to draw them closer to them, and I'm thinking, oh, something magical is going to happen. What were your thoughts, Sadie, seeing him going loop?
So I'm sorry to like bust that bubble for our nerdy birds out there, but I was like looking through my feed on Facebook, and one of my like friends was like, I'm so mad at Baby Yoda. And this is somebody who reads like Star Wars literature. So I already knew that like I fucked something up for myself because I was like, fuck. Like, how is she mad at Baby Yoda? So when I watched the episode, so I already knew like Baby Yoda fucked up. Like I already knew. So like the episode, I'm sitting here waiting. I'm like, tell me, like, where are you gonna be fucking up? And then when I saw it, I was like, oh damn, you really did fuck up, Baby Yoda. Like,
because the only redeemable like thing about the frog character was that like, oh damn, like I get that, like I feel bad, like your species is about to die, like I don't want that, no one wants that. Baby Yoda's like, I don't give a
shit. Like, yo, that's why I said this is not a vegan friendly episode, because you know, as a viewer, the first time it happens, you know, and this is where we feel like, you know, this is like bad joke rape culture where it's like the first time it was okay because we didn't know. Like, because as viewers, we were just like, we don't understand what's happening. And
but because he's so cute,
right?
Like,
he's so cute. He didn't, you know, he didn't say no. We didn't know. And then it goes further in, and we're like, oh no. Now we're educated, and he's still
They're like, how many eggs are in there?
And like would Baby Yoda have stopped at like the last couple? Hell no.
No. He would have gone all the way. But what I was saying to Eli as well, this is the element I liked about the episode as well in hindsight, is that Mando hasn't been raising this child. He's been protecting it. But he hasn't been raising the child. And it's still a child. And if you don't raise a child, the child's going to do what the fuck it wants. And, you know, like, and I think, again, I might be wrong, but I think this is kind of like pulling those strings. I'm going to see more of that, of Mando having to like teach this child, you can't do this, you have to do that. You know, the child could almost kill Cara Dune from a chokehold, you know, at one point. And, you know, you forget about that. 2 episodes from it. Right. You know, things like that. So
she's like, that's not okay. He's like, he didn't mean it.
And this is a child, more of those things are going to happen because it's a child that doesn't know. It's just like, oh, this is tasty, you know? And I think this is, we're going to see more of that going forward. Eli, the fuzz arrives. We spoke about this before. You know, what I like about this episode and this show is that because we're seeing it through the eyes of Mando, what we saw as hero rebels are now the police and the fuzz. You know, what did you feel seeing the X-Wings pull up?
I mean, obviously, any Star Wars fan is going to get all shivery when they see the X-Wings, and you're going to get the nostalgia about it. But as we said before, seeing them as an antagonist, you know, because you're in the mindset of rooting for Mando and Baby Yoda, and so when they pull up, you're like, oh, it's the first time you really see X-Wings as the enemy. And so I thought that was kind of cool. But truthfully, all I could think about when I saw them was, what's going on with the New Republic? How are they building politically? What are the ramifications? I just wanted to like explore that more. I was like, let's follow the X-Wings. Like Mando, he'll be all right. So, you know, I want to dive deeper into that, but you know, watching X-Wings, like,
no, I did like that. You and I are huge fans of the political sides of Star Wars, even though George Lucas kind of made it boring. There are elements in there that if you just pay attention to them, they are exciting in its narrative, and this kind of gives us hints, like you said, of what the political atmosphere is like around this time, where it's just after not long after the Empire has been destroyed. There's a vacuum of power now. Last episode showed us examples of what that power vacuum looks like. And so, you know, the Republic has to kind of police this. And again, as fans of Star Wars, we know that not long after, you know, this doesn't last because the New Order comes and takes over. So the New Republic's not able to sustain this. So maybe we're going to see how that journey happens within Mando, or at least the beginnings of that. What I also liked is that we got to see a different side of Mando, where he reacted just like everyone reacts when the police pull you over. You know, because like, oh shit, I have it somewhere in my papers. It's not working. You know, and I thought it reminded me of the Han Solo moment of everything's okay, everything's good, fine, we're good moment. And I thought it was a good moment of levity. Part of Star Wars is also kind of balancing some elements of levity to it, which I also found hilarious when he's maneuvering through the atmosphere and Frog Lady's just like screaming. I was dying.
I just felt bad for Frog Lady this whole episode. Like, just circling back to what you said, like, wait, we don't have a translator?
Right?
Like, there's no way for us we've reached these galaxies, but we still can't talk to each other? Like, but this is still the story of Babel?
You can. It's just that in the Star, I forgot. Like you always forget. It's established in the first movie. That's literally C-3PO's role, is to translate. You need a whole robot to do it. He's like a protocol.
Because there's how many millions of languages?
But it's like
right,
you can't make a device. You can't like. I feel like making a whole android takes more ingenuity than making a device to do it. Like because a super intelligent, like C-3PO is like a super intelligent AI.
Thank you. You made something that thinks and feels. C-3PO doesn't want to leave Luke Skywalker in the battlefield. Like, this is more than a translation device, guys. Like,
right? It's like I always find that an interesting element of Star Wars. They crash underground and go even deeper and wake up on the damaged ship. Eli, baby Yoda's eating the eggs again. I love when Mando's like, "Where is he? Not again."
I told you no. And like he is like a typical, like, that's a dad thing to do, like where you think like then no.
It's so true. It's so well, and that's the thing is I love that like we've established basically that Baby Yoda does not only like have a moral spectrum, like he doesn't have like any morals.
No.
He's just like powerful little adorable like destructive force wielder. And like I think the best part about the season is gonna like see him being taught these morals. But like I'm curious if they're gonna get to the point where like he at some point he's gonna have to like clearly make a choice. He's not just gonna be like a silly baby. He's gonna have to start making choices. And I'm like, is he gonna just turn like or she? We don't know. It's but anyway.
No, I think it's been confirmed as a he.
It's a he. Okay,
I think it's been confirmed.
I blank on that because it's like a little alien. Like I don't even. It's
I think it has been confirmed.
Just no name. But anyways, yeah. I mean, like at a point, is this little like sweet alien going to be a little asshole? It's like more like consciously.
This little guy, can you see it? Boom.
We can see it.
There's a glare. It's my only Funko Pop.
I see the child.
The only Funko Pop I haven't taken out of the box.
Don't.
It's the only one. I don't care for that box thing. Just that it's the baby. It needs to be to be taken care of. Where was I? This moment, Eli. I don't know if you agree with me. I feel like actually going back to the Baby Yoda quickly. I want to say one point. We forget also people want Baby Yoda, and part of the element of Star Wars is gathering the powerful ones to join your side and gather them at a point where they can be manipulated. So Baby Yoda is still at that point, even though it's a 50-year-old baby, he's still at that point where it can be manipulated, and it depends what side and who raises him. And I think that's going to become a larger aspect in Baby Yoda's story, is the foundation that Mando builds for him, and whatever decision Baby Yoda makes later.
Well, and he's being raised, like Baby Yoda is being raised by an extremely violent person who we've had to question, their own moral center too. So it's like, what we shouldn't be terribly confident that he's not going to turn out to be a psychopath.
Exactly. I mean, Anakin had great people, and
right. Definitely.
My complaint I spoke about earlier on in terms of the translators led to something that could have been something really interesting for the character, and maybe could still be going forward. But seeing that clearly Frog Lady is an engineering genius and was able to create a translator out of the head of a robot android we'd seen in a previous episode. I forget the name. I think it was Q90 or something like that. What did you think of the fact that Eli? What do you think of the fact that she was able to build that and then tell Mando, "I want to save my eggs. God damn it!"
Well, suddenly the character had dimension.
Yes.
Because before that, I just couldn't get over. I was like, "This is a frog. Like I don't get like." I feel a little bad, but then at that point you really start to connect with the character. And I love it. Like I wanted to know more. It was cool with this character being around, and like that ingenuity again. And now you guys have said about, like, I was thinking, like, why did it take that much to be able to communicate? Like that was so much effort.
Right.
Like she had to start freezing her ass off and like figure out, okay, my species will die unless I figure out how to communicate. When it should be like, try some basic signs at least to start.
You never knew you would miss C-3PO or like knew what his function was until you started watching The Mandalorian, because you're like, why can't they talk to each other? And just like Dave said, it's like because that was his job.
And now
R2D2, and then C-3PO was like his voice,
Right.
So.
And now we know 3PO is the real MVP. I mean, we always knew that.
Of course. I love that she hits Mando with his weakness. She's like, "Oh, I guess you don't honor the Mando code." He's like, "God damn it." He's got fine, because he's like, "I can't do anything, lady." She's like, "Oh, you can't do anything, huh? I guess you don't believe in the Mando code, huh?" He's just like,
And the only thing I didn't like is after he basically goes and starts fixing the ship up, and it's like, everything's cool. But like, why did he try to go to bed then? If that whole time he had the capability to go fix the ship, like he's like, look, we're gonna die here. I'm gonna go to bed. And she's like, Mando code, and he's like, fine, I'll fix the ship.
I read it as he's tired. He just fought a crate dragon.
Yeah,
He's
but
tired.
This was after.
No, did you notice?
Yoda already ate one of the eggs, so that means he slept and then left him in the situation with a baby eating the other eggs, and the other person is on. I'm with Eli. Like, why are we waiting?
He was just like, sometimes Mando doesn't want. Mando's kind of that character that if he doesn't have to, he won't try unless he has to. He's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. All right. Did you guys notice in continuity, great continuity, because this picks off after the last episode, his whole uniform was like crusted with crate dragon juice. Inside juice, because remember he was inside the crate dragon, like there was still green pus all over his helmet.
Yeah, he hasn't showered yet.
I was like, yeah, right. Because like the helmet, you're not gonna clean it. Any water you find, you need to drink it. You're gonna waste it.
Right.
Sadie's, do you have arachnophobia? Baby Yoda is like, I love it because it's like after Mando is collecting the eggs, and it's I'll eat it.
The minute that Baby Yoda was like doing the mime dance, like. I was like, something's wrong. Get in the ship.
Yeah,
Everybody needs to go in the house.
No, go back. The minute Baby Yoda starts playing with an egg and picks out the creature and eats the creature.
Yeah.
Right? That was the sign. And then
was
Baby,
so
I was
alien.
like, God damn it.
Yeah.
And that's when I really got angry at Baby Yoda. Because then I was like, yo, this is already 2 times. We told you the first time. It's like, what is it saying? Shame on you. The first time, shame on me. The third time, it's like, damn. Dude,
no
we
touchy.
We all deserve to die.
It's Baby Yoda's fault that they all attack, right? I assume.
Yeah, and then it's like I felt bad that we mass exterminated these like snow spiders for like, because like technically they wouldn't have died if like Baby Yoda didn't eat them. like right? Wouldn't nothing have happened?
He didn't even like sniff it either. I'm like,
yeah. Right.
I was like, you've never seen that spider before. Like, you don't know how that's gonna go down.
He opened it like this and was like,
yeah, like no thought, just. Yeah, I will eat. This is edible, 100%. You don't know
bananas.
That. You just smell this before you're eating.
Just strawberries, apples, grapes, like whatever. Like so, yeah. I get it why everyone was angry, but it makes sense for story writing wise. Like, I mean, we have to find something irredeemable from Baby Yoda. We can't just go on 2 seasons being like, oh, we love him.
Baby Yoda eats everything. Remember the past episode in season 1, eating the frog. Out of randomly, just everything he puts in its mouth.
Yeah, how do we forgive that? We were like, "Oh, that's so funny. He's just murdering frogs, but it's only frogs." So.
I guess Baby Yoda likes frogs, right?
That was Frog Lady's cousin.
Yeah, no, that's Frog Lady's husband. She's gonna find out he's not alive anymore.
Oh my god! Oh, that's so disrespectful. Yo, that was so funny. Like the frogs first season. Clearly, like the world does not care about frogs. Amphibians are just not it because they've told us.
This is where the episode takes a shift in tone, which I actually enjoyed. But my issue is that I felt it came too late. I felt that this should have come earlier on, and the episode should have been a survival. We should have spent longer trying to survive, because it just becomes run away from this point until they get saved. As I think we should have had run away, stop, hide, run away. Like time spent hiding from these creatures, because I think that there's an interesting element in terms of the horror sides of it. Because I was legit scared when they're trying to close the doors and they were trying to come through and shit like that. Yeah. I think we could have had.
They shot that well.
We should have had more scary moments,
Yeah. And I'm with you totally. And we've talked about the way Marvel has split off its movies in a very genre-like way. And I feel like Star Wars could take a page from that playbook and like really lean into it. If you're going to go like scary sort of thrill episode, like go all in.
I mean, they've dabbled on it in Mando as well, in the prison episode when they betray Mando and then he takes them off one by one and the lights are flashing red and you see why he's scary. So they can do it and we dabble in it, but I want to see a full on like just horror episode. What I liked about this moment as well though is that Frog Lady isn't useless. When the spider's about to get onto Baby Yoda, she shoots them. Or even the fact that she's able to leapfrog, because I thought she's going to be slow.
Why would she save that little cannibalistic.
I'm like, you should have done that the minute they did. I mean, but to each his own.
No, Eli is saying, why would she save Baby Yoda from the spiders?
He's sitting there trying to like speed up the genocide of her species. And she's like, fine, I'll save you, even though you just ate 6 of my children, you little bastard.
She doesn't know, though, because she's been up on top of the ship. The Mando's been keeping it.
Well, that's the problem, right?
And what kind of mom is she? She's not counting those eggs? I would have a roster.
See, thank you. Eli's like basically saying everything that me as like, I was watching it as if you were being like, so she doesn't know the head count, so like nobody's gonna ask any questions like about the eggs that went on the ship and the eggs that are gonna come off the ship.
And like there was not enough for her to truly lose track. Like she put them all there, and they're all kind of there. Like that's not.
So I don't know what they say about seahorses and fish. They just pull out like 3,000. But
still, this is the last of your species. This is different. This is the last.
So these last like 10 of your eggs, and you're just gonna be like, okay, I lost 3.
Right. I did like the fact that she can hop because I thought she was gonna be slow as fuck. But then she started hopping. I was like, okay, fine.
She went 4 legs. I was like, there we go.
I was like, you're not that useless.
I was like, be your species, be you.
Right. Get out of there. And I even like that she used. So he's just.
I'm just laughing at like, be the best you can be, go girl.
I mean, even the moment where she was like, oh shit, spiders, and she uses her tongue, bang, gets her clothes, she got changed very quickly. I was like, oh snap, there's that frog changing speed. What I liked also is before they escaped, when the giants, when they're about to escape out, before the giant spider jumps on them, the music is like playing the Mando music, dun 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 dun, and the ship is going up, dun, and then boom, spider jumps on. I'm like, oh shit. But you're thinking what's going to happen, but the New Republic arrive, bam, 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 fire on the spider just in time.
I was not expecting that
to save the day. I did like that because, as obvious as it is in hindsight, they made you think, who the fuck is that? Is it? Is it? I'm thinking, is it Cara Dune? Is it some other person? Who is it?
I thought it was going to be Boba, like had followed him and had been tracking him. That's what I thought. I was actually a little disappointed when I saw it was the X-Wings. I was like, damn, they are persistent. Like,
all right, they're gonna get their man. But then it gives us some like other context that Mando's also kind of in a way getting a reputation, because it gives us callbacks to the prison episode where he saved Lieutenant Davin. They said, we heard about you saving Davin. Even though you took someone away, you left 3 guys here, so it kind of evens out. So I'm going to let you go free, because these are trying times right now. So leave you with a warning.
They're like, get that headlight fixed.
Right.
Like, what is happening?
But we're not going to help you. You can take that giant spider off yourself. Okay, bye.
Quick point about that. You talked about when the crescendo and then the spider drop. I thought they're doing weight with CGI really well.
Yes.
And I feel like that's like really big budget stuff. It's like, because I think that's one thing is crappy CGI, even in huge budget stuff. I'm looking at UTC. Like there's no weight, and like there was weight on that leg, and I was just like a random thing. I was like, damn.
No, it's true.
Really,
but
how is this TV?
I even thought the same thing with the jetpack. I felt that was a physical form floating and moving as opposed to CGI or fake prop. I think they've done a great job in the series. After patching this awesome ship, the old rust bucket, I feel like what's been destroyed more, the Falcon or the Razor Crest. I'm not sure.
At this point, I feel like the Razor Crest is catching up for sure.
Right. I love when he says, "Wake me up if a shot or if that door gets off the rails." And she's like, "What?" I'm kidding. We'd be dead by then. And I love how the episode ends because the last shot is fucking Baby Yoda eating another egg. Did you notice that?
Thank you. I said this episode was not vegan friendly. That was the spoiler.
He's just like, I don't care. Nope. Just like, what?
And then I didn't know how to feel about that because I was like, dude, we stressed very much at this extinction, and you're just like, so are you dark side or?
And this is like after Frog Lady saved little Baby Yoda. Like he's aware of that too. He knows. He's like, I still don't care.
Anyway, I'm gonna run some fun facts quickly before we finish. Fun facts. We mentioned it already. Pelimato is playing Sabak, a famous card game in the Star Wars universe, and Dr. Mandible is an Easter egg because the episode was directed by Ant-Man series director Peyton Reed. Also, the New Republic pilots, one of them is a character called Trapper Wolf, which is played by Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels producer Dave Filoni, who also is a producer on this series and directed a couple of episodes in season 1. Wolf also appeared in episode 6, The Prisoner. They also mention that they represent the New Republic. Like I said before, the New Republic rose after the destruction of the Empire. And Eli mentioned earlier the spiders. They're known as Kreknak, and they referred to as crawlers in Star Wars Rebels, those who watched that. These were also in the original storyboards for The Empire Strikes Back. Eli, did you know they were supposed to appear in the Dagobah scene, but for some reason, they were actually in the storyboards. Ralph McQuarrie drew them out, but they didn't appear. But they were referenced as knobby white spiders. The design is slightly different. It's not exactly the same, but you can see the homage to it there.
I love that they took Ralph McQuarrie's original design and then blended it with Rebel design. So you see more knobs, the knobs on the body. That's very Ralph McQuarrie. So,
but his designs also had the little eggs and the way the mouth is and things like that. So it's very, very, and there's some of the huge size of them. If you're a new Star Wars fan and you like art, I would highly recommend looking up who Ralph McQuarrie is. I'll give you some facts here. He is pretty much responsible for the visual look of Star Wars, right? The aesthetic of what we see, that lightsaber, Darth Vader, he drew the storyboards, and a lot of what he did in the storyboards ended up making it to the screen. So, George's ideas, he visualized there, and so he's credited with that. So if you're a fan, look him up.
More of his stuff is coming into play in all the new content, and it's so cool that it shows how extensive it is that they can keep pulling more and more from his incredible imagination. I
mean, again, like this, a great example of he had so many things that were largely not used, and definitely not in the movies. It was only used in the cartoons and some of the books, but he had so many ideas and concept art, and I'd like to see more of it. Any final words, anyone, before we go? That's it? We're good? You excited for next episode? Yeah, you are. You're not saying.
Of course we are. It's like once you rip the Band-Aid off and then you pick the scab and you're just like, I'm ready for the next one.
Oh, the one thing I will say is I'm such a huge fan of that they're extending these episodes a little bit, that they're not just 30 minutes. Like the 45-minute sweet spot, I think is fantastic. Every episode last season, I was like, damn, a little more, just a little more.
I agree.
As a production manager standpoint, I was actually really surprised and commendable for 35, 40-minute episodes for that production quality. God damn, I would not want to be an AED on that set. Wrap it up, guys. Absolutely not.
On that note, as you said, wrap it up, guys. Thank you, Eli.
Great to be here.
Thank you, Mercedes, for joining us. Hope you can continue joining us weekly.
I will be on time next time. Sorry, guys.
My name is English Dave. Thank you guys for joining us. And as always, Mercedes.
Keep it nerdy.
Keep it nerdy, nerds. Peace.
Peace.